we are going to complete the Montreal Cognitive Assessment, a common instrument used to measure cognitive functioning in older adults. The measure takes about 10 to 15 minutes to complete, with scores ranging from 30 at the high number to 0 at the low number. Higher scores indicate better cognitive functioning. Incorrect responses result in points being subtracted from the total score using rules specified at the measure's website, which is www.mocatest.org. A score of less than 26 suggests cognitive impairment. Evidence remains inconclusive on how best to adjust for education, given that higher performance is strongly associated with having completed a higher level of education. Persons who achieve 12 years or less of education receive an extra point. The MoCA is available at the MoCA Test website in 37 languages. Okay, Mildred, for the next part of the exam, we're going to do a little bit of a memory test. Okay, so it takes about 10 minutes, and I have here a collection of puzzles and problems for us to solve. It's actually kind of fun. Are you ready?
It's like a test. I don't do well on tests.
Well, it is a test, but it doesn't take too long. Some of the questions are very easy, like silly easy, and some of the other questions are a little bit harder. And I don't expect that you would get everything right, but it is kind of fun to try. So, want to say, what do you say? You want to give it a whirl?
Okay.
All right. Let's focus for the first part of the test here in the top left-hand corner, and you're going to see here that you have a bunch of circles that have letters and numbers in them. All right, and the purpose of this task is to connect all of these circles with letters and numbers in the right sequence, and they want you to go in a number-letter sequence. So we start with and they give a hint. So we start with 1, and it goes from 1 to A. So they give you a hint that you go from 1 to A, and then from A to 2. And then you're supposed to connect the rest of the circles in that sequence, in that number-letter sequence. Okay?
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, good. All right, let's focus over here on this cube. And I want you to copy this cube exactly the way it looks down here in the space below it.
Oh, I cannot draw.
All right, well, do your best.
Okay.
All right. All right, well, why don't we go ahead and move over here to the next exercise. And for this one, I want you to focus in this space up here at the top right corner. And here I want you to draw a picture of a clock. So draw a circle, put the numbers in it, and then put the hands in it to show the time 10 minutes past 11.
Wait. What?
Okay, so first I want you to draw a circle that's big enough so that you can get all the numbers in it. So draw a circle and put the numbers in it to show what a clock face would look like, to show like the numbers on a clock face.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay, now put the hands in the clock to show the time 10 minutes past 11.
10, 11.
Okay, perfect. And I'll take the pen. Now I want you to focus on these 3 objects down here. and I want you to tell me what each one of them is called. What's the name for this object?
A lion.
Good.
Hippopotamus.
Okay.
That's a camel.
Good. Okay. Well, we're done with that part. All right. Now for the next part of the test, I have 5 words that I want you to remember. I'm going to say them to you, and we're going to practice a couple of times, and then I'll have you say them back to me, and then I'm going to come back again about 5 minutes later in the test and ask you to remember and tell me what they were. Okay? All right, so the first word is face. The second word is velvet. The third word is church. The fourth word is daisy. And the fifth word is red. So face, velvet, church, daisy, red.
Face. Church. I don't remember the other words.
Okay, it's okay. So we'll try it one more time. Face, velvet, church, daisy, red.
Face. Church. Daisy. Red.
Okay, good. So we're going to move on. And I want you to remember those words because we're going to come back in a few minutes, and I want you to say them back to me, okay? All right, for the next exercise, I'm going to say a list of numbers, and I want you to say them back to me exactly in the order that I say them to you. 21854.
21854.
Perfect. Next, I'm going to have you say a list of numbers in reverse order from the way I say them to you. 742.
247.
Beautiful. All right, so for the next exercise, I'm going to read to you a long list of letters. And every time you hear the letter A, I want you to tap your knee, okay? F, B, A, C, M, N, A, J, K, L, B, A, F, A, K, D, E, A, J, A, M, O, F, A, B. Perfect. All right. For the next exercise, I'd like for you to subtract 7 from 100 and then keep subtracting by 7 after that. So what is 100 minus 7?
93.
Good. Keep going.
86.
Good.
77. 69. 62.
Okay, that's good. That's enough. Next, I'm going to say 2 sentences, and I want you to say them back to me exactly the way I say them to you. I only know that John is the one to help today.
I only know that John is the one to help today.
Perfect. The cat always hid under the couch when dogs were in the room.
The cat always hid under the couch when dogs were in the room.
Beautiful. Next, over the space of the next minute, I want you to name as many words as you can think of that start with the letter F. Ready? Go.
Face. Friend. For. Favorite. Friendly. Floor. Fingers. Free. Favorite. Wait a minute, did I say that already? Flat.
Couple more words, 5 more seconds.
Figure, franc.
Time. Good. Okay. For the next part of the exercise, I'm going to name pairs of objects, and I want you to tell me how they're similar to one another. In other words, what category do they both go into? For example, a banana and an orange are both
fruit.
Perfect. So how are a train and a bicycle similar?
Well, they're transportation.
Good. What about a watch and a ruler? How are a watch and a ruler similar?
Well, they both have numbers.
Okay, good. All right, what about those 5 words? What were the 5 words I asked you to remember?
I don't know. That was a long time ago. I can't remember them.
Well, what was the first word?
I think it was face.
Good, it was. Okay, what was the second word?
I remember daisy.
Good.
I can't remember the others.
Okay, so the first word was face. The second word was a type of fabric.
Was it velvet?
It was. Good. So face, velvet. The third word was a type of building that serves a particular function or purpose. Was it hospital, school, or church?
Oh, I think it was church.
Good. So face, velvet, church, and you got daisy, which was the fourth word, and the fifth word was a color.
Red.
Perfect. Face, velvet, church, daisy, red. Good. All right, what is today's date?
It's October 7th.
Okay, and what year is it?
2013.
Good. And what day of the week is it today?
It's Tuesday.
Okay. And what kind of place are we in?
That's the doctor's office.
Good. And what city are we in?
Pittsburgh.
Perfect. All right, we're done. You did very well.
To score the MoCA, we add points for every correct answer, with a total possible score of 30. In Mildred's case, she made mistakes with the first task, the trail-making bee test, because she connected the circles with letters and numbers incorrectly. The most common mistake is the failure to alternately connect the number and letter circles. Mildred also left out a line when copying the cube, and she placed neither the numbers or hands correctly on the clock. These visual spatial problem-solving tasks target insight into the patient's executive, higher-level cognitive function. Mildred scored 1 of 5, indicating impairment in this domain. The next part of the test targets memory and language function. In the brain, there are many neuronal connections between the hippocampus, where memory is stored and retrieved, and the left temporal lobe, which is where higher cognitive aspects of language, like articulation, word retrieval, and syntax, occur. In dementia, these connections are often damaged or lost. As the disease progresses, for many dementias, language function, such as naming and word retrieval, thought content, and vocabulary, deteriorate. On the naming task, Mildred scored 2 of 3. Her immediate recall of 5 words was clearly impaired. While no points are given for this portion of the test, Mildred's performance highlighted her memory impairment. Her attention was fairly intact, although she struggled with some aspects of these tests. She scored 2 of 2 on the forward and backward digit tests, 1 of 1 on the letter identification test, and 2 of 3 on serial 7 subtraction. These tests are brief and emphasize auditory processing. Note that the subtraction exercise may be challenging for people who have not achieved a high school level of education or for people with impaired literacy. So if you question the patient's ability to read and do simple math, you might consider trying a cognitively similar task that does not require literacy, such as name the months of the year going backwards, starting with December. Alternately, you could ask the patient to name the days of the week backwards, starting with any day. Mildred's language skills were also intact, retaining the capacity to repeat complex sentences, scoring 2 of 2 on this section. And she scored 1 of 1 on verbal fluency, noting that she was able to name 11 unique words beginning with F within the span of 1 minute. Abstraction is another higher-order cognitive test. As dementia progresses, thought content becomes more narrow, less flexible or imaginative, and very concrete. Mildred was able to correctly identify an abstract similarity between 2 objects in the practice question about the banana and the orange, both being types of fruit. A more concrete mind might focus on how they appear and say they are both similar because they have appeal. Mildred also answered the first comparison test correctly, identifying a train and a bicycle in the abstract as modes of transportation. A more concrete thought process would identify them as objects that have wheels, for example. However, Mildred was not able to identify the abstract similarity between a ruler and a watch as objects or tools of measure. Instead, she gave a very common, concrete answer and said they both have numbers. She scored 1 of 2 on this section. Her delayed recall was deficient, indicating impairment of her short-term memory and coding ability. Recall that with a lot of practice, she was able to name 4 out of 5 objects on immediate recall, which did not give her any more points, but certainly indicated that she was going to have trouble with delayed recall, where she remembered 2 of 5 objects without needing an additional cue. Lastly, she correctly identified 5 out of 6 items on orientation, missing only the day of the week. Mildred's total score on this MoCA test is 19 points, which is a positive screen for dementia.